Elasticity is vital for performance, aging, injury correction, injury prevention. But not all exercises encourage that elasticity, the development of it. You don't want to overstretch because you may feel like the ability to stretch is the same as elasticity. They're not the same thing. Elasticity is the ability to stretch and return to a state that increases the strength, the neurology, the overall gliding properties and health of the body. We're going to start with the simplest exercise that begins the process of restoring elasticity. So we squat behind the ball, pressing our pubic bone into the ball, draping over the ball. Right from this position in the squat, our pelvic floor lengthens. It rebounds and we rock forward, lengthening our spine. The shape of the ball, our position on the ball, and movement all promote pelvic floor and spinal elasticity. And then we're cushioning with our hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders, and our feet, ankles, knees, and hips with just a gentle landing and pushing off. So simple but very effective way of beginning to restore elasticity. From the frog rock, we go into the dive. The dive increases the intensity of the elastic rebound. Our pelvic floor is long. It rebounds, driving us forward. Our spine lengthens. It rebounds, bringing us back into the squat. That continual forward movement, return, lengthening. We are synchronizing our pelvic floor with our spine. Critical points in our intrinsic core. So in the beginning, you're not going to feel that lengthening as you dive forward. And with time, this effortlessness, you barely have to push to get back into the squat. It's important that you point your toes, direct force out your toes so that as you dive forward, your spine can lengthen and rebound. Now, to create more space between your rib cage, dive to the side, opening up the space between your ribs, restoring and improving the elasticity between your ribs, and that's going to convert, just like the dive right in the middle, to your breathing. And the next exercise is squat into overhead reach. Now, you're going to sit on top of the ball, walk forward until you're in a squat, pressing your feet into the floor, driving your thigh bones into your hip sockets, pressing your sacrum into the ball. Now, we're going to follow the contour of the ball, lowering our head onto the ball. I'm going to walk my feet closer to the ball because I want to feel that suspension from my sacrum to the top of my head. And then bend your knees and straighten. We'll do a few before we do the reach. I want you to add your breathing because that's an important point of restoring the elasticity. When we straighten our legs, we're going to breathe in. And then we hollow and exhale, and our knees bend. Gravity pulls us down, rebound, and straighten your legs. Now we're going to add our arms. Going to breathe in and reach. I'm lengthening from fingertip to toes, then hollow my abs. My knees bend. I drop down, rebound, and straighten. Hollow and exhale. Drop down, rebound, and straighten. So we're getting elasticity, full body, but it's being generated and coordinated by our lower abs going through our pelvic floor, that specifically the sagittal plane, part of the pelvic floor, from your lower abs through your pelvic floor to your sacrum, to your thoracolumbar fascia, all the way through the fascia around your shoulder blades to your arms. And this becomes effortless. You reach out, you hollow, and your knees automatically bend, rebound, and straighten. We're going to go into kneeling overhead rock. Knees are together. Back is flat. And your hands are on the ball so that your torso is parallel to the floor. Reach your hands and tailbone in opposite directions, and you rock forward and backwards. So we're reaching fingertips and tailbone in opposite direction. We're noticing that our lower abs, just above our pubic bone, is drawn into the front of the spine. And the tension changes as we hollow our abs, we rock backwards, then we spring forward. It's subtle, but it runs from your pelvic floor to the top of your head or to the top of your fingers or out your fingers. But you've got this control, that this elasticity, the rocking happens effortlessly, forward and backward with minimal effort, keeping your back flat. Your arms are a continuation of your torso. Notice the change in tension as you hollow your abs that causes you to rock backwards. And it's a little bit like a slingshot. You rock forward with all the control of that elasticity coming from your lower abs and the tension that you create from your tailbone or part of your pelvic floor to the top of your head. Next, we're going to do side toss. We're going to get on our side so that both feet are pointing straight ahead, and we are in a straight line from the outside of our foot to our fingertips in contact with the handle of the bell. Keep both arms straight, toss down. Let it spring up. Are you feeling that between your ribs? Are you feeling the elasticity along this entire lateral plane, this outside plane from the outside of your foot, up your leg to your hip, to your lumbars, under your shoulder blades, side of your neck, all the way to the side of your eye. And toss, and it just springs right up. You may not get that right away, but that's what is happening. You are gently remodeling the fascia. You are giving it the right kind of load to stimulate the fibroblasts. And you're facilitating the gliding. Now roll onto your back. Bell overhead for overhead toss. And you're going to rock forward and backwards as you toss down, and it just springs up. So the control is coming from your lower abs, which is propagating the movement, but you're tossing down and you're letting it rebound up. You're going to feel this all around your shoulder blades. If you're feeling it in your shoulders, you just have to do it more, and you're going to see that it's generated from around and underneath your shoulder blades, while that elastic coordination between your lower abs, your pelvic floor, and your spine rocks you forward and backwards. Now bring the bell back to your sternum, roll onto your left side. Reach that bell overhead, toss down, and it rebounds up. You can feel any of the restrictions from the outside of your foot to your fingertips, even to the top of your head, particularly your neck, because it takes time before your neck is remodeled and can comfortably rest on your lower arm. And your arms are a continuation of your torso. So elasticity is restored along this entire lateral plane from head to foot. And end with another set of overhead toss. So we are building one move, one exercise on top of the other, alternating to get the most out of that elastic rebound, that elastic organization, fascial organization, neurological feedback. We're going into the snake series. Snake 1, you're reaching your hands opposite one another. You're pressing your hand into the ground and driving that ground force through your arm, conducting the force through your arm to your shoulder blades, to your torso, swinging your legs to the right. And just as your legs are about to fall off the ball, you press your right hand into the floor. Ground force goes through your arms, legs, drop down the ball. Back and forth. You'll observe the elasticity, the force transmission that's dependent upon that elasticity. The smoothness with which you do this exercise is dependent on the organization, the lack of densifications, the glide that takes advantage of the elasticity. And you'll feel this elasticity. It's so effortless and feels so right. Every cell in the body is responding to the change in tension when everything is organized and elastic. Then move into snake 2, where you initiate the movement onto your side with your pelvis. Let your head dangle, and you're going to toss down and let it rebound up. So you can see the elasticity as I toss down. It just springs my legs up. And you're going to feel this along your lateral plane from the outside of your feet to the top of your head. Then switch, roll onto your other side and toss. The organization and tone, unified tone through your body is going to determine your elasticity. And elasticity is not flexibility. It's the ability to add a load, which creates energy, store that energy, and then let it out efficiently in movement in the opposite direction. And switch one more time. Keep your arms straight, armpit close to the ball. Head dangles, legs together, they move as a unit. Pay attention to the areas that feel restricted. Roll onto your other side, bend your knees, and rotate your pelvis. Now, this rotation is increasing the rotational load, and as we drive our bottom hip forward, it's going to rebound, straightening our pelvis so that it's lined up. And we're using the lower legs as a way of increasing the load. Straighten, roll onto the other side. You're all the way onto your side, bending, and we're rotating in the horizontal plane. And you're going to notice the rotation from your legs to your pelvis to your trunk, and it's going to make a difference in the elasticity between your shoulder blades and rib cage and your neck, your whole spine. One more on each side. And rotate. The sensation of rotating and letting your legs increase the load and getting the rebound feels efficient, familiar, and powerful and delightful. You can just feel many places in your body, many joints, just unwinding and storing energy and regaining the ability to rebound. All right, we're going to do corner rotations. Corner rotations is a significant exercise to do when we're talking about elasticity. Now, I favor exercises in the rotational plane because I think of it as creating the spring that we are designed and we are built with many springs in our body. So leg is straight, ankle, knee, and hip lined up. Bring the ball to the outside of your knee. Lean onto the ball. Support yourself with your back leg. Now, this is not a simple exercise, and it's good to lead up to it. All right, reach over the ball. So you're lengthening, lowering down, and then you pop up and twist. So this is a very increased load as you lower down. So you have to initiate movement, but at the end, really take that twist around, reach, lower down, pop up, and twist. Reach, lower down, pop up, and twist. So this doesn't give you the same like rebound feeling, but it's preparation for getting that whippiness, getting that rebound. All right, we're going to do it on the other side as well. Okay, you always want to make sure that your ankle, knee, and hip are in a straight line. You're reaching over that ball and you're lowering down. Everything is lengthening from your foot to the top of your head. Pop up and twist and reach and lower down. Pop up and twist. Reach over. It's like you fly over the ball. Control lowering down or eccentric, then pop up and twist. We're ending with plie wall squat. I'm going to hold an 8-pound bell overhead. I like the increased load and challenge, but you don't have to hold anything overhead. So I'm going to talk with the reference of reach the bell overhead. Your arms are a continuation of your torso. Your hips are at the equator. Your spine is parallel to the floor. Your feet are turned out about 1.5 hip distance. You're going to lower down. So we are eccentrically loading our pelvic floor. Then we hollow our abs and straighten our legs. Very efficient. The torso is lifting through the whole exercise. And we're going to, since this is all about elasticity, this next one we're going to add some pulsing. So when your elasticity is restored, your fascia is organized, you'll be able to pulse like this effortlessly, not feeling it in your quads, taking advantage of your pelvic floor elasticity as well as spinal elasticity. And then you hollow and straighten, and you can also do free fall. Lower, lower, lower. Free fall, rebound up. Lower, lower, lower. Free fall, rebound up. So the elasticity is making this very efficient, easy to do. All right, I hope you enjoyed this elasticity workout, and let's all regain our elasticity and maintain it for a lifetime.